Okay, once I'll just take a review for the last session. Okay, actually we have an introduction to Pega PRPC. We have seen, okay, what is about Pega PRPC and what are all the terms. Some terms we discussed in last session. Okay, so just Pega is a application development tool. We'll not use any coding in Pega PRPC. So total design will be drag and drop and point and click. Okay, and Pega is a Java-based application, but no need to worry. Internally, when we design applications in Pega, we will not use any programming. Okay, so Pega is just a drag and drop tool. Okay, totally it's a drag and drop tool, and internally Pega contains different portals will be there, and we will be working under the developer portal. Okay, so I'll tell you about the portals again. About all the portals I'll discuss today. Okay, so Pega contains different portals, and the portal name we'll be using is nothing but PRPC. PRPC is the portal we'll be using for designing and deploying the applications. Okay, and apart from that, Pega contains a methodology. Okay, some management tool will be there. So that is nothing but BPM. So it is a part of Pega software only. No need to separately configure. When the companies took the license, automatically it will be configured. And Pega contains different editions. Two editions will be there. That is personal edition and enterprise edition. Okay, I told the differences. Tool wise and options wise, there are no differences. Only thing is, so in the personal edition, by default you'll get the database and server. But in enterprise edition, depend upon the project requirement, they can select any database or any server. Okay, so but if you in the real time, if the different database and different server if you use also, the design process will be same methods we'll use, same functionalities we'll use. Okay, so options wise there will not be any change in the personal edition or enterprise edition. I discussed it right yesterday. In personal edition you'll be getting a default database as PostgreSQL, or we can also call it as PGSQL database. Okay, and server is Tomcat is default server, so that you will get with personal edition setup. And how to start the, and generally personal edition you will get internet server. No need to connect to any external data. No need to connect to any external server. Directly in the system you can install the setup. You can start the server and you can log into the application and you can work on the application. Okay, so today I'll tell the installation process also. Then in order to log into application, Pega contains a default credentials are there. That is the username is administrator@pega.com. Password is install. Okay, so first of all we'll log into this default ID and then we can configure application setup. Okay, so for starting a new project we need to configure some setup. That one you will get in tomorrow's session. And as part of setup, again it will create a new IDs. Okay, so this setup we are going to create in the default ID, and after completing the application setup, it is going to configure, it is going to generate new user IDs. Okay, so you will be designing all the things in the admin or developer portal. Okay, and what is manager portal, user portal and all, I'll discuss later. Okay, and in today's session we are going to discuss about Pega Designer Studio. What are the different types of options and what are the different terms we'll be using in this application development. So where and where which options are there in this tool. So just we'll have a overview about the entire Pega Designer Studio. We can also call it as Pega PRPC portal or platform. Okay, anything we can call. So basically technical term we'll be using is Pega Designer Studio. So this Pega Designer Studio, it is categorized into 4 panels. Okay, so it is categorized into 4 panels. One is header, explorer panel, in the left hand side you will get this Explorer panel, then Work Area panel, and Footer or Toolbar panel. Okay, so entire Pega Designer Studio is categorized into 4 different panels: Header, Explorer, Work Area, and Footer or Toolbar panel. So I'll open the application and I'll explain the options one by one. So already I started the server. It's still running. So meanwhile, click on the login icon. Okay, it's ready and it is open. So we can open in any browser, guys. Okay, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, in any browser it will open. Okay, first of all, log into application using default username and password. That is administrator @pega.com, and password is INSTA double is password. So, and differences between the versions about 7.1, 7.2, 6.3, all the differences I'll cover later. So now all the designing, everything we'll do in the 7.2 version. So there are no major changes compared to 7.1. Just few changes are there. Differences I'll cover in the after in the middle of the session. I'll cover the differences. Okay, means in after half sessions I'll tell the differences. Then you can understand very clearly. Now, first of all, we'll see. So this is entire thing is Pega Designer Studio. So where it is divided into 4 panels. This is the header. This is the Explorer in the left hand side. This is the work area panel. Means if you open anything in this application, it is going to open in the work area panel. And in the bottom, it is nothing but a footer panel. Means it contains some toolbars. It is also called as a toolbar panel. Okay. Now starting with the header option. So this is the Pega logo. Next to that, all the in the header you'll get all the menu options. Menu bars will be there. Okay. In that, one of the menu name is Designer Studio. Okay, this entire thing is Pega Designer Studio, and we have a menu. They have given one menu name as Designer Studio. Okay, so menu name is also Designer Studio, and under this Designer Studio, you will be having widgets. So many widgets and internal tools will be there. Okay, for managing the internally managing the entire application, this Designer Studio contains so many internal widgets and tools. Okay, and most of the options will not use from Designer Studio. That is some internal settings. So those settings and all configured by default. So most options will not use under the Designer Studio. So mostly we'll be using application menu. Few things we'll use. Process and rules are not required. These are all just internal settings. Decisioning we will not use. Data model till previous version, tables and all we used to create from data model, and from 7.2 it is deprecated. So you will not use this data model option from actually till 7.1 version. All the tables creation will be creating from the data tables option from this category. But from 7.2, directly from the data explorer we can add the tables. Okay, data types and tables and all we can add from the data explorer. Okay, no need to worry. In the next sessions you'll get this how to add this configuration and all I'll tell you. So this option is totally deprecated in 7.2 version. So we will not use data model from this category from 7.2. And user interface, just it will show the gallery type of thing. What are all the different controls we have under the user interface. It will just like a overview. Okay, you will not do anything under the user interface. So this mobile, this is also newly added in 7.2, not required for you. And reporting settings and usage, this is also basic settings. So one of the most important thing we use from the Designer Studio is integration. So this one, under the integration part we'll be using all these widgets will be there. So this is mostly important. We'll be using this option. And organizational security also, this is internal by default built-in options will be there. No need to change any settings. So these are all related to the Design Studio. Default options and settings will be set. So in this mostly we'll be using integration menu and some basic, these are also basic system settings only. Few things will be there, something called system management application just for checking the logs and all. So apart from that, maximum if you see from this Design Studio we'll be using integration part and few things under the system and few things under the application thing. Okay, so whenever we get a task and whenever we get a requirement, I'll be showing these options when to use and how to use. I'll be discussing these things in the coming sessions. Okay, so in this Designer Studio, so many all the things whatever I have shown, all are widgets only. Okay, so when we click on any option, it is going to open a separate widget kind of thing. So like that, so many internal tools also will be having in this Pega. One second. Okay, once you join the sessions, mute microphone everyone. So once you join the sessions, mute your microphones. Okay. So like this, we'll be having the menus, different menus will be having another Designer Studio. So all are related to the application only. Each and every option will be related to application only. So in this, whenever we get a requirement, I'll be using these options in the application. And next to Designer Studio is application menu. Okay, so the name is Pega Rules. What is this name is? See, in the default ID, Pega Rules is the name of the default application. Okay, it is not a application, full-fledged application, just a sample application name set in the default ID. It will not work also. Okay, it's a sample application added in the default ID. Pega Rules is the application name, and this menu name is nothing but application menu. And from this application menu, we can configure a new application. Okay, for adding a new application, because in the default ID we cannot configure a, means we cannot start the design. Okay, we cannot start the design in the default ID. If you want to start the design of a new project, means we have to configure a new application setup. Okay, that application setup we can start from this application menu. So in tomorrow's session, this topic is the starting topic, how to configure a application setup. Okay, but in real time, guys, it will be done by the lead team or business analyst will involve in this application setup process. But in personal edition, if you want to start the design, means compulsory this setup is required. Without this setup, we cannot continue building a project in personal edition. But in the same task in the real time, it will be done by business analyst or some lead architects involved in the application setup process. So in, and one more thing is compulsory you must have some knowledge on this topic also, because in certifications and interviews some questions you'll get on these topics too. So compulsory you must have a basic knowledge on this. It will be helpful. Okay. So even though in real time you will not use this option, it will be helpful in interviews and certifications. So again, for application setup configuration also, Pega contains some internal tools are there. In tomorrow's session, we'll discuss in detail about this thing. So entire configuration process, you'll get in tomorrow's session. So this is one of the, so in the real time, mostly you will not use this option. So it will be used by the business analyst. So, and there is some other options. So open application overview and all, these are not required. One option will be using this new application option, and generally very rare cases, see same developer can at a time work on two applications also. Okay, so generally if the organization is same, okay, and under the same organization if we have two applications, so at the same time a developer can work under two different applications also. So here there is an option called switch application. So right now we are under Pega rules application, and in the default ID there is one more application is there, that is DM sample. Okay, suppose if you want to at a time, if you are working at a time on two different applications, we can also switch between these applications. Okay, we can switch between the applications. Currently we are under Pega rules. Click on DM sample. So we can switch between the applications at the same time. Okay. So maximum in the real time we will be working under single application only. No need to worry. So this is a DM sample. And if you want to go back to previous application, means again go to application menu, switch application and select Pega rules. So no need to worry, just an option is there and I want to show you. Okay, so maximum you'll be working under one application only in the real time. Then there is a launch option. Okay, so launch menu we used to call. The purpose of this launch menu is to launch a different portal from the current portal, because Pega applications contains, okay, there is one more portal added in 7.2, that is other portal that is not required for you. So mostly we'll be using admin. Right now we are in admin. It is also called as developer portal. Okay, admin or developer portal are same in Pega. And apart from this, okay, basically three portals we are having. So one is admin or developer portal. Currently you are in admin or developer portal. And another one is manager portal. And another one is user portal. These are the three portals we have in the application. So for the purpose of manager portal and user portal purpose, I'll discuss in detail in the coming sessions. So actually in the admin or developer portal, actual design will take place. And in the manager portal, work management will happen. Okay, work management, or we can also call as case management. We can also call it as case management. Means which developer is working under which task. Okay, so all the work management will be done in the manager portal. Okay, so mostly you will not use that option. It will be used by the team leads will be using the manager portal. So work management will happen in the manager portal, and under the user portal, work assignment will be done. Okay, so you are a developer. You need to do, so after completing one work or after completing one task, you will be working under another task. Okay, all the work assignment will be all the work assignment will be assigned to the user portal. Okay, so I'll tell you in the coming sessions how the work assignment will be done. Okay, how you have to open the user portal and receive the work and all. In the coming sessions I'll show you. So mostly the design, actual design means will be the designing and deployment and all will be done in the admin or developer portal. In the manager portal, work management will be done. Okay, and in the user portal, work assignment, the task which we are working, all the works will be assigned to the user portal, and every developer will have access to developer portal and user portal also. Okay, so any works assigned to the operator, so operator is nothing but here developer. Okay, any works assigned to the developer will be accessed from the user portal. In the coming sessions I'll tell you, in the routing concepts will be there. So in the routing concepts, when I add the routing concept, when we are working on the routing concept, I'll show these user portal and manager portals. Then, so this is the launch option given here. If you want to launch another portal apart from the current portal, if you want to launch any other portal, directly we can click on this portal name. It will open in a new tab. Okay, it will open the portal in a new tab. So like that we can switch between the portals. Okay, not switch, instead of logging off from the current option, we can directly launch the different portal from the current portal. Okay, so we have to, if you want to launch another portal means we can go to launch menu. Then there is one option called create a case. Okay, so here if you want to execute any case in the application, we have to go to create a case option. Means if you want to execute any module in the application means we can execute from this option. In the default ID I cannot show you. When I added a new application, right, in that I can show this option. Okay, for executing a module, any module in the application, we can go with this option. Maybe you cannot understand right now. I'll show it practically in the coming sessions. And there is a search option. If you want to search for any rule name in Pega, you can search here. Okay, what are the things you are creating in the application? If you want to open that one, by giving the name, we can search from this option. And there is something called private, which is a check-in checkout tool. Okay, so by default it will work in 7.2. Actually in 7.1 personal edition it didn't work, but in 7.2 personal edition it is working. So it's like a check-in checkout tool. I'll show it in the, when I do the practicals, I'll show you. And there is a help option. Okay, within the application, means if you want a detailed information regarding the topics in Pega PRPC, in this Pega 7, you can just refer to the Pega 7 help. It will give a detailed overview of each and every topic. Okay, so you'll get it entire information, entire documentation will be there on each and every topic. Okay, so in this everything will not be helpful. I'll tell you how to prepare these things on topic wise. Okay, I'll give the reference also, and I'll step rule wise also you'll get the same documentation. I'll show you how to prepare this documentation. I'll show you. So means related to Pega on each and every topic, you'll get a detailed documentation in the Pega 7.2 help option. Okay, it will automatically get in the application itself. Okay, so when you install this setup, you'll automatically get the Pega 7 help option. So anytime if you have any doubt, if you want to search for anything in the application, just search for that. Okay, for example, anything, any rule name if you want to search, and if you want to get a detailed information regarding that, just search for that name and you'll get a detailed information about so many options you'll get. Okay, so you can refer that options. Okay, you'll get a detailed notes description, okay, about each and every topic in this Pega PRPC 7.2 help option. So because any material, if what I'm sharing also, the main source will be from this only. Okay, any material, because you cannot find any ebooks or any materials in online for Pega PRPC. You cannot find any single material outside in Google or anywhere. So any material if you want to prepare, that is the main source is from this Pega 7 help. Okay, so if you follow this Pega 7 help system and thoroughly, you'll get a detailed idea about each and every option in Pega PRPC. And I will tell you how to prepare. I'll tell you. Okay. Then finally in the header option there is a last menu, that is operator menu. See, the purpose of this operator menu, you will be using only to log off from the application. Okay, apart from this, you will not use this operator menu. Only to log off from the application you will use. But if you want to know the other options in this, it contains the operator information. First of all, what is operator? Who is operator? Operator is nothing but a developer. Okay, and every developer will be given some user ID, right? Every developer will be given some user ID to log into the application, and every developer will have different access to the application. Okay, suppose 10 developers are there, all the 10 developers will have a different access to the application. So depend upon the seniority. Okay, depend upon the seniority, so depend upon the experience we have. So if a developer is having 2 years experience, he will be getting some access. If he is a 4 years experience, his access will be different. So like that, what are the things you can access in the application, so accordingly they can set the access group. Okay, so all these things are part of operator ID creation. So there is something called operator ID, which is nothing but user ID. Okay, operator ID is nothing but user ID. So what is the default operator ID in Pega? What is the default operator ID in Pega? That is administrator@pega.com. And if you want to, generally after the new application setup is configured, they are going to create a separate ID for each and every operator. That is, for every developer they'll give a separate user ID. That is nothing but operator ID. And in the operator menu you can find the information about the operator. Means, so about that particular user ID, you can find that information in the operator menu. So for example, in the default ID, okay, in the, if you want to find the information about the default operator ID, just click on operator. Okay, if you have a new operator ID means you can change, update your name, email ID. Okay, all those things you can update. First name, last name, full name, phone number, email ID, all those things you can update in this contact information. And which application access, in the application access you can see for which application you have the access to work on that application. Okay, so currently this operator is having access to PRPC application, sorry, Pega rules application and DM sample application. Okay, and if you want to see more information, there is something called work tab. Okay, under the work tab, so for which organization you are having the access, and in the real time they learn so many things like what are the work baskets you can, I'll tell you in all these details. So what is the skill level rating and what work baskets you can access. Okay, so what is the time zone you have to work. Okay, when it will start, your work time zone will start. So and in the security where you can update your passwords and all. So all these things will be there in this operator menu information. Okay, so under the operator menu, if you click on operator, you will get all this information. And there is something called access group. Access group is nothing but the level of access this operator is having in the application. Means what are the things this particular developer can access in this application. See, if you open this access group contains first of all application information, portal information and roles. Okay, see, Pega contains so many roles and depend upon the developer seniority and developer experience. Okay, so they will be setting the roles for the developer. Okay, so and this access group contains three things: application access, portal access and roles access. Okay, so what application currently is having access is Pega roles, and currently he is having access to two portals. One is developer portal and another one is manager portal. These two portals he can access, and these are all the roles given to this particular developer. So based on these roles he can access the, so if these roles are given, he can access maximum all the things he can access in this application. Okay, so maybe some other junior developer is there, he may not get all these roles. Maybe he may get sysadmin 4 and multi-tenant admin, so remaining roles he will not get. So like that accordingly, so depend upon the developer experience and seniority, so they'll be getting different roles for different developers. Okay, so that is all not your task, it will be done by the business analyst. So when they create operator IDs for you, so they will set all these things. Okay, so which application access, which organization access, and which portals you can access, and what are all the roles, and what are all the passwords and all, they'll give access to you. Okay, so I'll tell you in the coming sessions, I'll create some operator IDs and I'll show the process. Okay, so right now it is not required. In tomorrow's session, when we create application setup, automatically it will create operator IDs. Okay, after that, from that parent IDs, how to create this operator IDs, I'll show it in the coming sessions. See, tomorrow's session when we create application setup, right, automatically it will create a new IDs for us. Okay, in that new IDs we can configure the, means we can start designing the new application. So these are the options. So practically as a developer you'll be using the options under the Business Studio options. You will be using an application menu, maximum you will not use. Okay, there is nothing to use practically when you work on the application. And launch menu, launch portal you will use, sorry, the launch menu option you will be using, and the create menu option you will be using. And private, no need to use from this option. Rule level there will be private option will be there for every rule. By default you will get the private option, so no need to practically use this option from this option. Okay, so just a name is given, so directly at rule level only you will get this option. Then help option you will be using, and this operator menu just to log off from the application you will use. Okay, so practically when I work on the application, whenever I require these options, I'll be using these options. Okay, so these are the options in the header option. And coming to the Explorer panel, so these are all the explorers available. So there are totally 6 explorers available here. Okay, so totally actually 7. So this favorite option, okay, overall 7 explorers we have, and the same explorers we have in 7.1 also. but in 6.3 we have only one explorer. So the differences and all I'll cover later in the coming sessions. I'll tell you, not required currently. So in this recent explorer is nothing but, so in this application what are the things we opened recently, it will open in the recent explorer. Okay, so what are the recently opened items we can check in the recent explorer. Okay, so we'll be using this option. Then cases explorer, so when I practically work on the application, I'll be mostly I can use the recent items option. Say I want to quickly, instead of, suppose data model data tables is there, instead of again going to the menu names and all, I can quickly navigate the option from here itself. Okay, so like in order to navigate the options quickly, what are the things I opened recently, so I can open from the recent tab. Okay, so anything if you open, it will open in the work area panel. Okay, anything if you open, it will open in the work area panel. If the task is done, you can close them. Okay, so like each and everything whatever we open in this application, it is going to open in the work area panel. Then the next explorer is cases explorer. So this cases explorer is nothing but, see, generally when we create any application, we can divide the application into different parts. Okay, what is cases means here? So case is nothing but a module in the application. Okay, first of all, case is nothing but a module in the application. For example, if you have a bank application, so bank is one organization, or bank is an application. So bank contains so many different categories will be there. For example, loans section will be there. So related to the loans, all the design we can do in one case. A debit card will be there. Accounts, okay. So account section. So related to accounts openings and everything, debit accounts or anything. So NRI accounts, all these things we can add in one module. Related to credit cards. Okay, so related to the, it is one case. So like that, entire application we can divide into different cases first of all. Okay, this division and all we'll do at the time of application setup. So we'll give some application name and how many modules we have under that application, we can give in the form of case names. Okay, some cases we'll enter and automatically it will divide the entire application to different cases. In tomorrow's session I'll show you how to create the cases and all. I'll show it practically in tomorrow's session. So case is nothing but a module in the application, and under in the cases explorer what we will do means, inside the cases explorer we are going to define the process, the business flow we are going to define. Okay, here in the, okay, cases creation will directly create at the time of application setup only. Okay, so first of all, we don't, in the default ID we cannot see the case names, but in tomorrow's session we are going to manually define the cases. Okay, so under that application, how many modules are there for this application, we are going to give under the case types. Okay, after giving the case types, all the names will display here, and when you open each case, under the case option we are going to define the business flow of the application. Okay, under the loans, what is the business structure? Okay, so what is the starting thing, what is the initial thing, after that where it should navigate. Like we can define the stages and process, how many stages are there inside that module, how many process we can define inside that module. So the entire business flow of the application again we can define under the case types option. Okay, so maybe you didn't understand now also, not a problem. Practically we'll see all these things in the next sessions. Okay, so just a small information regarding the cases. Okay, so just a one point description about the case. Okay, case is nothing but a module, and inside this we can define the stages and process, where we can define the stages and process. Okay, so stages in process means the entire flow of the application we can define. Then next is data explorer. Okay, data explorer for adding tables in the application. See, in Pega, database is part of Pega application only, it is internal to the application. So no need to separately configure any database, no need to connect any database separately. When you start the server and open the application, database is ready to use here. So any database configurations, okay, any table creation, mapping to the databases, we can add from the data explorer itself. Okay, so all the data tables and all we can define from the data explorer itself. Okay. So this one also we will only work. There will not be separate database team or admin team. See, in this Pega application, each and everything except one or two things, okay, everything is a part of a development only. Okay, so everything you will only involve in this. Okay, each and everything in this Pega Designer Studio except two or three things. I'll tell you what are the things you will not involve except two three options. So all the things will be involved by the developers only. And the most important thing in this Pega Designer Studio is App Explorer. Okay, see, 90% of the design you'll do in the App Explorer only. Okay, in this Pega Designer Studio, 90% of the design you'll be adding from the App Explorer. And this App Explorer contains some different class concepts will be there. In the default ID, I cannot explain in detail. In tomorrow's session, I'll show you. When I give my own application name, automatically it will generate the classes in the application, and it will generate some subclasses also it will generate. And see, each subclass, see, we divide the application into cases, right? So each case will be nothing but a subclass here. Okay, it will automatically generate all the classes in the application based on application setup. And under this App Explorer, we are going to design the things. Okay, so depend upon the client will give the requirement. So based on that requirement, business analyst will prepare all the documentation and assign the work for the developers. Okay, so see, before starting the project only, 2 to 3 months they'll be working on the requirement, gathering all the requirements from the client, and they'll get all the approvals. Okay, so 2 to 3 months all the team will be working. So once it is approved, then they'll prepare all the requirement documents, business requirement documents, and they will assign the work to the developers. And developers will be working in this developer portal according to the task assigned to the developers. Okay. So any design if you want to add in this thing, okay, depend upon the client requirement. So most of the design will take place in this App Explorer. Okay. So in this App Explorer again, I'll come back and I'll tell you in detail after completing the remaining things. So in the App Explorer, we'll be having so many components will be there. If you remember or not, yesterday I told one point. Pega BPM applications contains different components. Okay. So each component is nothing but a building block of an application. So like that I mentioned few components also like user interface, data model, process, reports, okay, integrations. So like that, so Pega divide the entire application into different parts. Okay. So again in each module again it is categorized into different components. Generally in Pega terminology we used to call them as rule types in Pega. Okay, actually in Pega terminology we used to call as rule types in Pega, or we can also call as components. Under these components only, under the rule types only, we are going to design the rules. Okay, so what are the design we are going to create for this application, for the new application. So from the rule types, there will be again some rules will be there. So using these rules, we are going to add the design in the new application. So maybe you cannot understand now. After the completing the remaining steps, again I will come back to App Explorer and I will tell you. Okay. So what are all the different rule types we have? So you can see in alphabetical order. Same thing you can see in the Records Explorer. What are all the rule types and what are all the rules we have in this Pega application? You can see Records Explorer is just for view purpose only. We cannot add anything in the just for opening any record means what are the things you created in the application. If you want to open those records means we can view in the Records Explorer. For example, some data model, some properties you created. If you want to see what are all the properties you created, if you click on property, it will show all the records in the Records Explorer. Okay, and Pega also contains some default properties also will be there. So if you want, you can use, or else just we can create our own properties. Okay, so in Records Explorer you will not add any new things, so just we can view the things in the Records Explorer, just we can view them. Okay, so we cannot add any new things in the Records Explorer. Any new design if want to create, we can add it from the App Explorer only. Okay, so 90% of the design will be done in the App Explorer. Only 10%, remaining 10% will be using all the other options in this Designer Studio. So 90% will be designing in the App Explorer only. Okay, again Records Explorer only we can view the records. What are the records means, whatever we are creating in the application are nothing but records. And so these are categorized into different types, right? So different rule types and rules are there. So these are all the rule types we have. Okay, in the Pega application, so these are all the rule types it is categorized. Okay, or we can also call as components. And under each rule type again we'll be having different types of rules will be there. I'll tell you, I'll come back to this again. And private, again already we have the private in the header option. Same thing you'll have in the Explorer panel also. And we have something like favorites. If you want to bookmark anything, means favorite is nothing but you are working on some rule every time, so very frequently you are working, and if you want to add it to the favorite tab, we can add it to the favorite Explorer. Okay, so this one also not will not use practically most of the time. So private option will not use from this option, so directly at rule level it will be there, so no need to worry. And records also, if you want to search for any record, just if you want to open any record means, just then only we'll go to Records Explorer. Otherwise no need to use the Records Explorer also as a developer. So just mostly we'll be using these Cases Explorer, Data Explorer, App Explorer. And if you want to view any, what are the recently viewed items, if you want to see, if you want to quickly navigate, quickly open any items, means what are the records we opened recently, we can navigate from the recent items Explorer. Okay, so now coming to the App Explorer. See, generally Pega application contains different components that are nothing but rule types in Pega. Okay, they may ask you what are the rule types you have in Pega, or they'll ask you what are the rule types you worked on Pega PRPC. Okay, so there are something like one or two things we will not use as a developer. The first one is up. Okay, there is no particular order here. Just I'm mentioning all the rule types, and there will not be any order for these rule types. Okay, so rule types are, every rule type is a separate rule type. I'm going to mention all the rule types we have. Application definition, data model, process, technical decision, sysadmin, organization, reports, security. Then integration, we have different types. Integration services, integration connectors, integration resources, integration mapping. Okay, did I miss anything? Application definition, data model, user interface, process, technical, decision, sysadmin, organization, reports. Okay, so these are all the rule types you will be working in the application. At the time of application design, you will be using all these rule types. Okay, application definition we will not use. Application definition is nothing but an application setup. So for application setup, Pega contains some internal tools are there. So we will not use the application definition any time in the real time or in the personal edition. Okay. So this application definition no need to use. So nobody will use either in real time or in the personal edition. Now coming to the remaining types, data model. So this data model option use it to add data types like tables creation, properties creation, and there will be something called data pages. So all these things we can configure from the data model. Means related to the properties, any how the data will processed and stored. Okay, how the data is processed and stored. So all those things we can add from the data model rule type. And user interface. So all the screen UI design we are going to configure in the user interface. Means all the screens, all the forms we are going to design in the user interface rule type. So for designing purpose, again we'll be having so many rules will be there. So many rules are nothing but some templates. See, I told you Pega, everything is predefined. Okay, so these are just the names. Okay, so rule types are just the names or component names. And again, under each and for adding the tables, for adding properties, for adding data pages, those are again rules in Pega PRPC. Okay, so those are nothing but some built-in templates. Okay, for each and every rule, there will be some template will be there. Just we need to pass the parameters. Okay, so at the time of adding a property, we'll give the name of the property, data type of property, okay, mode of the property, okay, how it should display in the UI. So like that, you'll get all the template is ready for us. Just we have to give the names and fill the parameters. So what type of thing you are creating, so which type of condition you are adding, okay, which type of business logic you are adding. So like that, for each and everything, there will be some fixed template will be there. Okay. So like that process inside this, so many things are there, but mainly process means first comes is flows. So the flow diagrams, business flow means how the entire business flow will happen in this particular each and every module. So we are going to define the flow diagrams. And for adding these flows also, Pega contains some internal tool is there. That is nothing but modular tool. And using that we can design the flows in the application. And in the technical, we are going to define the logic, business logic, and for this all the methods are predefined. Okay, so no need to define the logic manually here. We'll be having predefined methods. Using those predefined methods we can define the logic. And under the decision we'll have different conditions. All the conditions we can add from the decision rule type. So here also so many rules are there for defining conditions. So for each and every condition there will be a separate template is there. Suppose if condition will have a separate template, if and else if condition will have a separate template, when condition separate template will be there. Okay, so like that, any condition if you want to define, all the templates are available under the decision rule type. And sysadmin, so all the admin tasks, admin related things. See, most of the admin related things are automatically generated by the setup only. Okay, so only 20% things only will create manually. Okay, that is also task of a developer. So 80% of the things are auto generated in the sysadmin at the time of application setup. What are the information we provide, automatically it will generate all the things by the server itself. So only 20% things only will manually create under the sysadmin option. Okay, so all the admin tasks and all will define in the sysadmin rule type. And organization here, creating the user IDs. Okay, I told you right, every developer will have a separate user ID. So for adding user IDs and all, basically it is not a developer task, it is a task of a business analyst. Okay, so they'll take care about the organization part. So they'll create all the user IDs for each and every developer. They'll set the application access, they'll set the portal access, they'll define the roles, they'll set the password. Okay, so the level of access, what level of access a developer is having in the application at the time of adding operator IDs. Okay, they'll define in the organization rule type. And reports, for generating data reports, and these data reports we can reuse in different ways in the application. So related to reports, we have a separate rule type is there. Okay, so under this we can generate the reports. And security, so here security is nothing but some, so I told you right, there is something called access groups and all. So those things they can set in the security. So the level of access. So basically developers will not involve in this. Some lead team will be there, right? Lead system architects. Okay. So they'll take care of this security part. Okay. And integrations and all you will involve. Okay. We developers will be working on the integration, services, connectors, resources, and mapping. So mostly resources and mapping are automatically generated by the widget only. So you'll be, if you create the service and connector, resource and mapping will automatically generate. So except here, organization will be done by the business analyst. Security will be done by the lead team. Apart from these two options, remaining things will be done by the used by the developers only. Okay, except one or two things. Organization security, I'll cover a small portion. I'll cover. No need to worry. I'll cover few parts in the security also. And organization also I'll cover. Okay, I'll show you how to create user IDs, how to create the work basket IDs and all also I'll show you. So in this thing, maximum each and everything will be covered. Okay, application definition, data model, user interface, process, technical. So all these concepts will be covered in this training process. Okay, I will not application definition means it is not required in anyone will not use, so that is not required. Except application definition, I'm going to show you all these things. Okay, so all these rule types will be covered automatically. So when we work on the application, okay, so I cannot show in a single session. So day by day, topic wise, what are the scenario we have taken. So scenario wise, I'm going to implement all these options by end of the training. Okay, so in a single session, we cannot complete all these things. So every rule type will be interlinked with other rule. Okay, so one rule will be linked with some other rule here. So we'll start one by one. I'll tell the process. Okay. So first of all, after the application setup is done, we'll start with the data model, then user interface, then process, then business logic, then conditions. Then in the middle, you'll get these things: reports, integrations, validations. So all those things you'll get. Okay. So one by one, you'll be working on all these practicals. Okay, so these are all the things we have. Okay, anybody working any project, if you work also, you'll be working on these rule types only. So any project, okay, in the real time, if you keep 5 years experience or any 6 years experience also, any developer, Pega developer will be working on these components only. Okay, so anywhere you go, so only these options will be there, and you'll be working on these options only. Okay, so it will never change in any company, any application. You'll be only using these options. Okay, if you know how to use all these options in the real time, then you can work on any Pega application. Okay, so these are the main soul of the Pega PRPC. Okay, so 9 actual design and all, by using these components only we'll be working. Okay, if you want to see all these in organized order, okay, so these are all the rule types. If you click on records explorer, you can see all the rule types here: application definition, data model, decision, integration, connectors, mapping, resources, services, organization, process, reports, security, sysadmin, technical, and user interface. Okay, so these are all the rule types. But actually, so when you want to design anything means, under the rule types there will be rules will be there. So using these rules you will be designing. Okay, so this is a rule type. Rule type is just a name of the component. Under that component again, you'll be having these rules. So these things we'll be using for the design purpose. Okay, so these are the rule type names. Okay, and under the rule type we'll be having the rules. Okay, in Pega we'll be using a terminology called rule in Pega. Everything is a rule in Pega. Okay, so data model property is a property rule. Okay, data transform rule. Okay, data page rule. Okay, so like that everything is rule in Pega. If you take a decision category, decision table rule, decision tree rule, constraint rule. Okay, so map value rule, when rule. So like that everything is a rule in Pega. Okay, so flow rule, correspondence rule, validation rule, work party rule, so SLA rule, flow action rule, so flow rule. All these are rules in Pega PRPC. Okay, so under the rule type you will have all these rules. And if you want to create these things means, so under which class you want to configure the design, right click on that particular class, so it will show all the rule types. So under the, excuse me, under this, what are the rule you want to create, you can open that one and you can create these things. Okay, so like that, so these are nothing but rules in Pega PRPC. So any design if you want to do, from the app explorer only we have to create all these things. So from the create option, what are the rules we have, sorry, what are the rule types we discussed now, you can see all these rule types here. So which rule you want to create, just click on that option and it will automatically open in the work area panel. Okay, anything if you open, it will open in the work area panel. So just give some name. In the default ID I cannot create anything. In the application, when we configure a new application, in that we can create. So in here, if I give also, I cannot create anything in the default ID. It will not support. Okay, so we cannot add anything in the default ID. So that's the reason we need to configure a new application setup. From this application menu, we need to configure a new application, and inside that new application we can design all these things. Okay, so like I will take like a small project I will take, and I'm going to implement all these rule types and rules in that project. Okay, what are the rule types I discussed? These are only. So apart from this, there will be nothing will be there in Pega. Okay, so all the things they categorized into different parts. Anything if you want to design, by using these rule types only you'll be designing. So if you know these concepts, how to use and when to use, you can work on any application. Okay, so if you know these how to use these options in the application, then you can work on any application. Okay, apart from this, there is nothing to define, add any logic, nothing to write any code. So all the templates are there. Okay, any enterprise application also, so these are sufficient. Okay, if you work on any enterprise application, because it's already there from past 15 years. All the maximum in the other countries, if you take maximum 8 applications in 10 are designed in Pega only. Okay, so all the banking, healthcare, finance applications, insurance applications, credit card applications, so all these are designed in Pega PRPC. I'll give the entire list of clients and different customers in Pega. Okay, in the coming sessions I'll show you. So who are all the clients and who are all the customers of Pega PRPC. So then you can understand. Okay, so this is the basic components you will get in the Pega Designer Studio. And in the footer option, you can see some toolbars are there. So mostly use it for the debugging part. Okay, so for the debugging, Pega contains some toolbars we have. So mostly in these toolbars, okay, we'll be using clipboard and tracer mostly we'll use. So remaining things are partially we'll use. I'll tell about other tools also. I'll discuss in the coming sessions. Okay, in the when we start the development, I'm going to show you about the tracer and clipboard. Okay, so because at the time of designing and all, we'll be using these two we used to call as debugging tools. We used to call, okay, tracer and clipboard are debugging tools. So these two things mainly we'll use. Okay. Other tools, there will be separate people will be there. Quality team, like lead team will be there. They'll take care. So about the other tools also, I'll give you information about. Okay. So this is the basic overview of the Pega Designer Studio. Okay, so what are the options I showed? So these are the options we'll have. Anything if you want to work, either in the header, in the Explorer panel, or in the toolbar panel. These are the options we'll have in the Pega Designer Studio. So anytime if you want to work, by using the options, we can design the things in the application. Okay, we can design enterprise web applications by using this Pega PRPC. Okay, and from tomorrow we'll start the practicals on this. Okay, so again you'll get some terminologies also, so many important things you'll get tomorrow. After application setup, so many things it will automatically configure, like classes will be generated automatically. So different things like rule sets will be generated. So by default, based on the application setup, automatically it will configure so many things. So after application setup, I'm going to discuss about them. Okay, and installation process, I shared software to some people already. Give me 1 second, I'll tell the installation procedure also. It's very simple. Give me 1 second, I'm stopping the screen sharing, and I will reshare again. 1 second. Okay, yesterday I told the basic system requirements once again. So this first setting up the Pega 7 software. Okay, so already I shared with few students. Okay, maybe you already downloaded, means it will download in a zip file. Okay, in zip file format, totally 5 GB, it will be around 5 GB total size of the software. You can download that software. It will be in zip format, it will save. And after the download is completed, copy that setup in any drive. For example, okay, by default it will be copied, saved in the download folder. So extract that software. Okay, So it will be in zip format, right? Extract that setup and copy in any drive. For example, C drive or any where space is there. Like 10 GB free space is enough for installing this setup. Okay, in any drive we have 10 GB free space. Copy in the drive, and what are the folder name you are giving? Don't give any spaces for the folder name. For example, you are giving a folder name like this: Pega space 7 software. If you give the folder name, it will not read the exe files. So inside this you are placing all the files. So then what happens means it will not read the exe files. So folder name should not contain any spaces. So if we have any spaces, remove spaces for the folder name, and inside that folder you will copy all the files. Okay, and once the files are copied in the folder, then you can start the setup. Okay, so before that you have to note few things. Okay, it will support any Windows operating system, Windows 7, Windows 8 or Windows 10, 64-bit, RAM 4 GB. Even if we have 2 GB also it will support, not a problem. Then disk space 10 GB is also okay, 10 GB free space. Okay, you'll download the setup file. Okay, you'll download and extract the files, and the folder name should not contain any spaces. Okay, right now for 7.2 version, this is for 7.1, but 7.2 if you have higher version of Java also not a problem. No need to, okay, you can remove this step. No need to worry about the Java software, because along with Pega PRPC, Java will automatically configure. Okay, when you extract the software, the files will be like this. Install.batch file will be there. You just need to click on that install.batch. Okay, it will start the setup. You'll get the screens like this. Click on, okay, it is for 7.1.6. I'll share the screens for 7.2 also. Okay, same screens applies for any version 7.2 also. Just click on next, accept. You click on next option. It will ask you for the directory. Okay, so and don't give any name again. So if you want to install in C means give C. If you want to install in D means just give D. Okay, don't give any subfolder name, don't enter here. Okay, just give the directory name under which directory you want to install. So make sure the directory must have 5 plus GB space. Okay, for the setup process. Okay, for the setup process it must have more than 5 plus GB of space, that is 10 GB free space is required. Then you'll get the next screen where port configuration. Okay, so maximum when you are installing the setup for the first time, you'll have the port available. So by default automatically it will take the port configuration, database port and server port. But anyway, when you get this screen, check for port availability. Okay, once check for the port availability. If it is showing both the ports are available means you can continue. Okay, if it is showing the ports are not available, either database port or server port is not available, if it is showing, then you can enter a different port numbers. Already I have given some additional port numbers for server and database. You can enter any other port numbers. So maximum you will not get, so it will automatically take the port numbers. So it will be valid only, it will be. So then click on start. It will take the setup for around 15 to 30 minutes time it will take. And once the setup is completed, you can install. Means it will create the icons in the desktop. You can see these icons. It will create this setup icons in the desktop. Then you can, yes, automatically when the installation is started, right? Okay, so it will start the server for the first time. Okay, no need to manually again start the server. So it will take around 30 minutes time will take 7.2, right? It will take around 30 minutes time. More than 30 minutes also it may take. After the process is completed, you can click on the login icon. It will open in a browser. Okay, you'll get the login page. You can enter the default ID and password and you can check. Okay, it's very simple. There is no need to do anything from your side. Just follow the wizard, just follow the steps in the wizard and click on next and next. So you will not enter any manually, you will not enter anything. Just open the setup. Once the extracted the software, just click on the install.batch file and just follow the instructions. So you'll get this screen, same screens you'll get for any version. Just follow these screens and just click on next and start the installation. And there is nothing to do. Once the installation started, nothing to do, automatically it will do the all the installation process in the backend. Okay, So it's very simple, nothing to do manually, no need to configure any local host or anything. It will automatically configure everything in the backend. Okay, so once the setup is completed, it will start the server automatically. Only thing you need to do is you have to click on the login icon. Okay, so it will open the browser. So it will give the login page. Suppose if you are not getting this login page, and if you are getting any message like Tomcat server failed to load, means then some issue with the setup. Maximum you will not get 99%. It will be successful only, no need to worry. Okay, so this is the setup process. You can do by yourselves also without any help. So if you have any installation issues also, I can help you. Okay, on this Friday or Saturday session, I'll help you in the installation process. Okay, in tomorrow's session we'll have the application setup thing. Okay, how to create a new application setup. So any questions today? Okay, I'll come one by one. I'll tell the names. Venu, any questions? Sivalika, any questions? Siddharth, any questions?
Hello.
Just tell me. Who is this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Siddharth here.
yeah, Siddharth. Any questions?
Yeah, actually, I was connected with the laptop audio
Okay.
previously, and it was, like I missed out. I mean, I was not, able to hear
Okay.
in between.
You'll get the recording.
Now I
Share the
dial
recording.
up from phone.
Okay, you'll get the recording
So
for this.
is it like do I need to like use phone only? I mean,
No,
it
no.
happens
No
for the.
need. Just upgrade the audio drivers. It will work. Okay, or you can check with the earphones also. Your mobile earphones also you can try. It will work.
No, I was getting laptop audio, but just towards the end, I stopped hearing.
Okay, if you face an issue like that, just rejoin again. It will work. Okay, just disconnect and rejoin again. You will not face an issue. Okay,
Okay.
you are Siddh, right? Siddh Sharma, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll share the recording anyway. You can refer that.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Okay. Sansha, any questions? Ratnakar, any questions? Then Hari, any questions? Hariharan, any questions?
As of now, no hurry.
Okay. Arun, any questions? Then Archana, any questions? Praveen, any questions? Okay, if you have any also, you can send an email to me. And okay, and oh, you have to
Hari,
enroll for the
Hari,
yes.
Renu,
Just tell me.
uh, where